Ladies and gentlemen, I have opened a can of worm and I'm going to try to rebuild my 40 odd years old mill. This is Lagun FTV1S. Basically it's a beefier version of Bridgeport. Second the part, so I have to take off saddle, table and clean it up, and I'm just coming up with a game plan to see how to do this. Lately I've been doing a lot of scraping, and anything around me I just start scraping it. My kitchen floor is flat within 1/10. My kids are having tough time stepping on any uneven floor lately. Okay, let me just run you through a rough planning I have, and we'll just take it from there. I'll try not to make this video long. This is gonna take me days, maybe weeks, maybe even months to do it, but I'll try to keep this short and sweet without missing any highlights. Okay, before we start, I'm no expert at this, and I'm just documenting my work and hope someone will take something positive out of this. If you want to see some expert in this field, there are a lot of nice channels out there. One of them is Kid Rocker from Vintage Machinery. He has a lot of nice videos when it comes to rebuilding and scraping. So main column has been degreased and clean, and initial inspection shows minimum wear except in this area. And what I'm going to do, basically lightly scrape this. Now, based on my measurement, this area is just lower by less than 1 thou. And although scraping this would be no problem, but I want to make sure we are preserving original plane. So after scraping, I don't want to have anything tilting upward or downward. Although this surface is not perfect, but I have taken, with depth micrometer, I have taken 4 measurements. These 2 are exactly identical, and I have taken 2 more measurements here. They're exactly the same. So the reason I'm doing this, I want to take this down only by 1 thou. This way I guarantee I'm going to have this surface in original plane. I'm just going to drop it down with 1 thou. I also going to use my homemade way alignment tool to make sure these 2 surfaces, they are in the same plane. So basically this is consists of a bunch of ground solid bars connected with these aluminum brackets, and it was very difficult to find very like precision wire only. So I made these holders for my precision level. So this is started at 199, and so I'm going to use my started precision master level number 199 basically to along with this tool to make sure those ways in the same plane. Now how I've done this, these brackets, they have 3 set screws. I've brazed the tip of those screws so it won't scratch level. So once I have this here, and once it sits on the surface, I can align this in this axis, and obviously I can zero this by this set screw. It's extremely sensitive. Now each division is 5/10 in 1 foot. Now since we're only measuring roughly around 10 inches, that 5/10 will be below 4/10. So that will be even more precise. So I'm just going to set this to 0. So since this side, or the bottom side of these vases are literally untouched, so I can trust these being pretty much in the same plane. So that's why I'm setting it here. So that's R0. I'm just gonna give it a few seconds for it to settle down. So as you notice, this side now shows roughly around 4/10 higher. That's great. Just move on. Again, now we have this side showing 5/10 higher, or 4/10 actually, since we're measuring only 10 inches. And now here, kind of back to 0. So now I'm just doing this for demonstration purpose. I'm going to do more tighter increment measurement. But overall, especially for this column, we are within like 3/4 So I'm just going to take a light scraping pass and keep you guys updated. All right, I'm just going to take an initial print just to get an idea of where our high points are. Okay. Here's our high points on both sides. So as I said, since the wear is very similar on both ends, my goal is to drop these 4 ends 1 thou down while maintaining a flat surface. I have 3 heavy passes on each side, and we are already getting nice spotting. Inside the gib there's a lot of unused or untouched surfaces, which I'm getting spotting on those. This is the time it would be nice to have someone like Richard King to be your neighbor or your aunt's boyfriend or something, so you could ask for help. I believe this part is done, so I'm getting at least 15 points per inch as far as the bearing point goes, and I am happy with this being a column. It's the final check with this alignment tool, so we set our 0 there. Just gonna move it farther down, see what we get. Give it a few seconds to settle down. Still we are on 0. It's kind of moving almost like, I'm not sure if this thing shows, half a division towards my right. So that's still very good. Yeah, hardly half a division. So even since this level is it's accurate 5. Each unit is 5/10 in 12 inches, and we're only measuring roughly around 9 inches. This I'm measuring like 2/10 at the most. So I'm more than happy with this. To measure the gibs, I'm gonna use 2 methods. One, I'm just gonna use my caliper. I don't have a micrometer large enough for this. I know this is not very accurate, but also I'm gonna put my indicator on rail alignment tool or way alignment tool and try to run them and try to kind of compare these 2 measurements. So these are 5/8 precision gauge pins. All right, so that's 8, 15, 15 and a half. 8, 115, sorry. Pretty much same thing. All right, so that's 2 tau. That's 814. Pretty much same as top. 15. All right. Okay, that's R0. I'm just gonna move it slowly, see if our measurement kind of makes sense what we did earlier. That's done a little bit over 1 tau. It's down 2 tau. Still 2 tau there. And it should climb back up to 0. Perfect. All right, I have flipped this beast on its side. I'm supporting it with two crane, and also it's all supported in the bottom. Now I took a initial print. Not sure if it shows anything here. So I'm having bluing here, all the way here. Have some blue, very faint blue here, and a lot of them here. From look of it, this, I guess from factory, this was never hand scraped, so these are precision grind. Now, since I have it, I'm just going to fix this and make it flat. So it's kind of awkward position to work with. I have no other way of doing it. So let's just see what we can do. I just did literally one pass and getting a lot of spotting, which is great news for me. For this part, I find hand scraper works a lot better, much easier to control, and I can get much deeper in the grooves. Okay, this one is good to go as well. Now I'm going to flip this over and do exactly the same thing to the other side and go from there. Okay, so basically I'm still getting roughly around 8/10 in the middle. This is almost 4 inches, so like even half a tenth each side. I am happy with it. It wasn't much of scraping on this and those dovetails anyway. Okay, now that the column is done, I'm starting to work on the knee. So this would be the most challenging part as I have to deal with a lot of different surfaces. So I have to keep these in same plane and parallel, same as these ones. And then also the back of column, back of a knee has to be perpendicular to on top of it. So my plan is I'm going to use my smaller surface plate to kind of dial this in roughly, and then I'm going to use the column vase as a straight edge. So I will put a spotting die on these ones and try to put those on and try to fit back of knee to face off column. At least, well, that's the plan, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, now I'm just going to try and take an initial print from column to back of the knee. So I have it suspended on the engine hoist, and I have this extra strap. So this kind of, when I tie that, I can adjust the tilt of it so it will, both surfaces, they will kind of match. I don't wish to do this many times. It's very awkward and time consuming, but it's a necessary step we have to do. So basically, I'm going to apply some spotting die here, and I can't just simply drop the edge and slide it in. I have to bring the whole thing in while having a little bit of space, and once the whole surface of this back of knee is in, then I'll drop it down and take the print. Let's do it. All right, let's just fit this in. We're kind of hanging almost like 100 thou above the surface. Okay, I'm just gonna drop it in. All right, so I got my first print. The good news is I have kind of unified contact from top to bottom. I believe I used too much of ink, so the print is not very accurate. I have a lot more bluing on edge of these bays that can indicate, that means our column, that means these way might be kind of tilting upward. That could be by few tenths. That's what I am assuming. So that's why you want to make sure you fit these surface to what's going to be riding, not so much to any surface plate, because otherwise you could have it perfectly flat, but it won't be mating with the other surface. All right, I've got a few heavy passes. Now I'm going to take one more print and see how we did. Okay, we have made quite a bit of progress. So I'm getting this is based this spotting from column. So I'm getting a lot of unified spotting. So I'm just going to knock some more high points and get this down to at least 15 points per inch. And after that, we're going to work on the gib. As far as the dovetail goes on the knee, I won't be doing anything with it. It's just perfect. I put some spotting dye and it prints very well. So we won't be doing anything with dovetail for this one. Now to check the gib, simply I'm going to use a surface plate and my indicator, and all I have to do, make this 0 and then try to push in the center of the gib and see how much movement we have. So this thing goes down roughly around like 5/10. So this is not bent, which is a great news. This one is in pretty good condition. All I have to do, flatten the back surface and then fit the front surface to a dovetail of the z-axis. Just don't want to put any pressure on it. Can bend. Just a couple light passes will take care of this. I have cleaned up and flattened the back of the gib. Now at front you can see a little bit of wear there. So there's a tiny bit of stab. When I measured it's like within a tau. So what I'm going to do a kind of a rough pass and get everything scraped out, and then take a few prints, then start fitting it to the knee. Okay, I've put spotting dye inside that dovetail. I'm gonna send in gib, see what we got. Just trying to avoid touching the surfaces before whole surface gets engaged. Oh, that's going way too much in. Huh. Well, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but gib has gone through and past the point that it's not supposed to. So we have a problem. I need to either make a new gib or build this one up. See, this is the bottom of table and shows gib is sticking out at least by 1.25 inches. It's not supposed to do this, so this is not gonna work. So I'll have to come up with some solution. After a few sleepless nights, I decided to put a piece of turquoise on the back of this gib. I only have it like 0.12 or 12 tau turquoise. So, and if I put them in the front and start cutting that oil groove, the turquoise will be compromised in long term. So now we have a proper thickness. I'm just gonna fit this to the gib and go from there. Much better. We have roughly around 1/4 inch sticking out, which just want to lightly tap it. So this is what we got. I'm not too worried about the tip. I believe this is just a little bit of a misread, but we have connection. We have print from here, around here, and then way up here. Okay, now I'm going to start working on top of the knee. The process will be similar. I will be using same tools to measure and dial this in. Now the only difference, other than being parallel and same plane, these two surfaces has to be perfectly perpendicular to back of the knee or face of the column. So just gonna start roughing it, and once I get there, I'll bring you guys in and see how it goes. All right, I have dialed this almost 90%. I'm getting a very decent print. So what I want to do to see how perpendicular top of knee is to its back. So I'm going to use this granite angle plate. So I'm going to zero this up here. So I'm going to zero this up here. This is my tense indicator. So perfect. All right, that's our 0. So basically within 2/10. So that is pretty perpendicular. But okay, I've started putting this mill together, and I also apply a fresh coat of paint, and I have installed leveling feet as well. So at this point I'm going to take a couple of rough measurements, see where we at. After this, I'm going to end part 1 of this video and finish the rest on part 2. This is going to be a very long video if I keep it in one part. So I have my granite square sitting on the knee, and I have my tense dial indicator attached to a mill column. See what we get. Just gonna slowly crank the knee up basically. That looks good. So in 12 inches, we're hardly getting a couple tens, so that's good. Now, okay, now I have my granite square sitting sideways. Basically, I have 1, 2, 3 blocks on each vase, and I'm going to run the knee up and down, see what sort of reading we get. Well, there you have it. We have a 1 thou within 12 inches. So specs of this machine called one tile within 18 inches. So I'm going to look into that, and the next video will fix that. For now, we're going to wrap this up, and the next video I'll be working on saddle, table, and fine-tuning this one. Thanks for watching.